guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, I wanted to talk about 5 things that are going to destroy your watch's value. Things that you should avoid if you're going to plan on reselling your watch. Of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today, I'm wearing the Richard Mille RM16. No, guys, this is not part of my collection. We just got this in at delraywatch.com. It's going through quality control at the moment, along with a bunch of other super cool watches. An H. Moser Monard for one of the best prices you'll ever see in your lives, along with a few Chrono Swiss, some Rolex, and a bunch of watches that were put in the hot deal section as well, heavily discounted. All that and more at delraywatch.com. Link in the description below. So yeah, guys, buying and selling watches. There are a few things that can be done to a watch which unfortunately will really hurt its value. And that is what I want to talk about today, so you guys know what they are and you can avoid it. Now, a lot of these are common sense to our seasoned collectors and watch flippers out there, so you may think a lot of these are, well, I knew that already. However, not everybody here is an expert, so let's talk about it, and let's see, maybe you do pick up 1 or 2 hints that you didn't know. The first one, pretty obvious. That is losing your papers. Honestly, when a watch comes with box and papers, it's worth the most. The box really doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all, particularly with Rolex. I can buy Rolex. I have dozens of Rolex boxes. When I buy a Rolex without a box, I just pair it with a box. Dealers sell them separately. You can buy them on eBay. Just make sure they're real. However, papers are a big deal. If you lose your papers, your watch is going to be worth significantly less, as much as 25 to 30% less in some cases. However, if you buy it in the first place without papers, and you buy it for the right price, and if it's priced accordingly to not having its papers, it's no big deal. But if you buy a watch with papers, and then you lose the papers, or you get rid of the papers, that's where you're going to feel the hit. Personally, if you know what you're doing, the best deals are watches without papers. If you're a seasoned collector, once again, I always say you're never going to wear the papers, but just make sure that you pay accordingly. The second thing is one that I need to clarify, because it seems like a lot of collectors have it wrong, and that is polishing. Now, guys, a lot of people call me and say, has the watch been polished? So of course it's been polished. 99% of used watches have been polished. An unpolished, especially sports Rolex, is like a unicorn. It almost doesn't exist. However, when I say polishing decreases the value of your watch, it's if a watch is over-polished. Because, guys, there's a distinction between a watch that has been polished and a watch you can tell has been polished or is over-polished. If you polish your watch once every 5 or 6 years, it's been polished 2 to 3 times, no big deal. It doesn't hurt anything. If you're one of those guys that polishes it every 6 months or every time there's a scratch, by the 6th or 7th time, you're going to start seeing rounded edges, and that is going to kill the resale value of the watch. Personally, I've never polished a watch I've ever owned. I'm about to get my Gerard Perregaux polished. It's a little rough around the edges, but it's one of those things. Over-polishing can really hurt the value of the watch, but there is a distinction, because finding an unpolished watch, you're just dreaming. And a lot of the times when people say this is unpolished, they're lying. Let's be very clear. I don't mean to be rude or direct, but just don't fall for it. A 30-year-old watch that's never been polished, yeah, okay. Keep on dreaming. But yes, over-polishing, definitely bad. Number 3. Anything you've done to your watch that is aftermarket and permanent or semi-permanent. So adding diamonds to your watch. People call it a bust down. Or adding black PVD or DLC coating to your watch. Adding a diamond bezel to your watch, even though those are removable. None of these things add value. Sure, a watch that's completely pavéed in aftermarket diamonds might cost a little bit more than one that is not, but I can assure you the cost of the diamonds is going to be way more than the aftermarket value of that watch. So if you want to preserve the resale value, do not do anything aftermarket to your watch, which is permanent. The fourth thing, and one that is the easiest way to lose money, not knowing how your watch is running. Let me explain. If you have a time grapher or have brought your watch to a watch dealer or a watch repair center or a watchmaker, and you list it for sale and you say, watch is running 8 seconds a day, has been serviced, you'll get top dollar for that watch. If you say, service history unknown, unchecked, your watch could be running fine, but you gotta price it as if it needed service because you don't know if it does or it doesn't. And people are gonna be making you offers based on the assumption that there is something wrong with the watch or that it will be needed to be serviced. So the best way, before you sell a watch, go to your watchmaker, take a picture of it on the time grapher, and even if the results aren't great, it's better than selling it as completely unknown, because that not only scares buyers off, but the buyers that are willing to make an offer are going to give you a crappy offer, assuming they're going to need to shell out for a service. And now the last one, and this one is the one that you guys, or a lot of people can't help. And a lot of people may even say that I'm being a little biased or maybe even racist, but it's true. If your watch is located in a quote-unquote strange country or uncommon country, basically anywhere outside Western Europe or North America, or, sometimes, the popular parts of Asia, Hong Kong, Tokyo. But if your watch is located in South America, Eastern Europe, smaller parts of Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Indonesia, those places, your watch is going to be a lot harder to sell. A lot of people don't trust buyers or sellers, rather, from that country. A lot of fraud happens in those countries, a lot of credit card fraud. And I'm not saying these nations are bad in any way, but it's a fact that most of the credit card scams and watch thefts happen in those countries. So unfortunately, if you are located in one of those quote-unquote off-the-beaten-path countries, you're going to be limited to selling the watch most likely in that market, or you have to be lucky and find a buyer with a couple of cojones who's willing to take the risk. That being said, if you guys are coming on a trip to the US or the UK or something like that, take the watch with you. Post it on the forums from that country. Ship it from that country. You'll have a much better shot of getting a higher price or selling it at all from one of those quote-unquote safer countries. I travel the world. I don't believe those countries are unsafe, but unfortunately there is a misconception. And, truthfully, a lot of the issues, as I said, credit card fraud does happen in those countries. So something to consider. Anyway, guys, those are 5 things that could kill the value of your watch, things to take into consideration if you're going to sell them. Please let me know if you found this video useful, and please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help, and of course, subscribe. Guys, thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.